Weep Nation, what's going on? Sharc Gaming here, back with another, I guess, One Piece review. And I know it's been a while, right? I'll tell you the truth. It's been kind of difficult to actually read this chapter. Not because it's boring or anything. The reason why it was so difficult to read the chapter is because genuinely, I just didn't have the time. I've been working a lot of night shifts, you know what I mean? It's been making me extremely tired, you know what I'm saying? But I have all 4 books for the East Blue now. So technically, I already reached Arlong Park, but today's video, because I have, this is chapters, volumes 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the last one is Arlong Park and somewhere else, I guess. I don't know, but we're gonna get into that really quickly. For now, let's get off where we left. So we finished off at Syrup Village, and now we're going to the BARATIE. So basically what happened is that you have Usopp, the new member, so there are 4 members on the cruise ship, right? So you have Usopp, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. They're on the ship. They're on the Going Merry, or the Merry-Go, or whatever you want to call it. They're going on their adventure. They're out there. Usopp and Luffy decides that they want to test out the cannonballs, and they tested out the cannonballs, and it hit like a rock. Usopp has a very good shot, you know, he's a sniper, and he seems that he's very good at the sniping thing. That's very interesting, you know, nothing too serious, right? But they hit, I don't know, they hit something. They hit a rock. They hit like a rock in the sea, or whatever the case may be. And then 2 pirates, well, 1 pirate actually run up. Not a pirate, it was actually a pirate hunter. His name is Johnny. They came up to attack him. They took him down pretty easily, and then he was telling me that they just killed Johnny. Or Yasuko, I think they killed Yasuko, you know what I'm saying? And basically, he didn't kill anybody, you know. Yasuko was actually out sea. They're pirate hunters, just like Zoro. They're actually friends of Zoro's, or brothers. They call everybody brothers, brother Zoro, brother Luffy, sister Nami, or some crap like that. It was pretty funny, you know. But basically what happened is that they were out there, and I'm going all over the place, I'm so sorry. But you know, it turns out that he actually had scurvy. Nami kind of taught like a teachable moment there, where it's like a kind of realistic way. You know, a lot of pirates did suffer from scurvy back in the day until they figured out that they needed vitamin C. There was this like a funny gag that, you know, they gave him vitamin C. Luffy and Usopp like filled him up with like lemons or whatever, and he magically quote unquote healed in the moment, which was obviously adrenaline, you know, and terrible, you know, but magically healed. And then they were talking about how they're hungry, and Nami, and they were saying, oh, you know, this means, you know what we should get next? We should get a chef. So Luffy said, okay, they're gonna go to the Baratie to get a chef. Upon reaching to the Baratie, basically what happened is that they bucked upon this marine guy named Full Body. The Full Body guy, now, he was kind of moving a bit arrogant towards them. He had one of Don Krieg, or some of Don Krieg's men on his ship. That's very important for the story going forward, because I was actually thinking if I was supposed to do like a 2-part video for this, because there's actually a lot to say about the Baratie today. But I hope I can keep this under an hour, because, you know, let's see, you know, whatever. But basically what happened is that Full Body told his men to shoot after Luffy them. Luffy them saw that they were shooting the cannonball at them, and Luffy turned into the big balloon. He redirected it. He asked him to hit the Baratie. He hit the chef, the head chef, called Chef Zeph. His name is Red Leg. Is it Red Leg? I don't know, but he was a pirate back in the day. We're gonna get into that soon, you know. And he hit the ship. He went over there to apologize. Zeph basically beat him up and told him that, hey, you have to go work, or like, you know, you have no money. You're gonna have to work for me. I think he said for a year or 2 years to kind of pay off your debt. Luffy said he can't do that. You know, he's gonna work here for like a week or 2 weeks. He has to go to the Grand Line and become the king of the pirates, blah, 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 whatever. So now his name is Chore Boy, you know? So Full Body decided that he was going to dine at the Baratie, because that was his main objective. He decided to go to the Baratie. So he went to the Baratie. He was there with this nice hot lady, or hot in their verse, you know. He's like, hey, and he basically told them the type of wine that he wanted first, so that he would look like he's knowledgeable about the wine that they have. You know, he was trying to impress the female. He basically said, hey, argument's sake, I don't remember the wine, but he basically said, hey, is this Stella Rosa? And then there was this guy named Sanji, you know. Sanji was like, no, it's not actually Stella Rosa, it's actually Birds and the Bees. And it's like, and then the girl was kind of laughing after him and saying that, oh, you don't really know wine like that though. And in his mind, he was like, but I literally told them the wine that I wanted it to be there so I could impress the girl, blah, 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 blah. You know, Sanji kind of embarrassed him, and Sanji was like flirting with the girl in front of him. Sanji was kind of smooth. I can't be like it. I was like, yeah, I'd be embarrassed too, low-key. So then Full Body put a mosquito or a fly inside of the soup that they were having, and like Full Body complained to Sanji, and Sanji said, oh, it looked like there's a fly there, and he said he doesn't want it. I think he threw it away, and Sanji started beating his ass because Sanji doesn't believe in wasting food. Let me just explain the premise of the Baratie. The Baratie is a ship that is in the middle of the ocean. That is for pirates and anybody who wants to dine in the middle of the ocean. So imagine what happens. It's basically one of the roughest house worth of chefs ever, because these chefs have to fight pirates and dishonest people on a regular. So it's basically like a fight club but a restaurant that's on the sea. So basically the customers aren't always right. The customers get their ass whooped all the while, you know what I'm saying? So long story short, they came out and they whooped well, Sanji whooped Full Body, and then I don't remember if it's Seth came out, but somebody else came out and they whooped Full Body as well. Full Body was like, oh, they're gonna report this place, blah blah blah. Bro, it's literally a ship with refuge pirates, or you know what I'm saying, like people who aren't necessarily the most upstanding citizens. They're here literally just to serve pirates and other people. Like, this is basically a fight club disguised as a restaurant. Let's just be real, you know? That's literally what it is. Anyway, long story short, what else happened? I'm trying to give you in the proper order. Zoro, Usopp, and Nami came in and they're eating. Sanji saw them, Sanji serving them. Sanji's flirting with Nami. I guess that's going to be important later, because obviously Sanji is eventually going to join the crew. And then, you know, Nami is already a part of the crew. We're going to talk about that. Skip past that part because I don't have to go into everything into detail. A pirate off of Don Krieg's ship named Gin, he escaped Full Body's ship and came into the restaurant and demanded that they gave him food. There's this guy named Patty, that's one of like the head chefs or whatever. He's like, or one of the head chefs. You know, he came in, he's like, yo, do you have any money to pay for your food? You know, he's like, how are you disgusting imbecile. That's how he speaks to like all the pirates. Have a good day, you ugly son of a, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he speaks to the pirates. It's just so funny. But basically he was like, do you have any money to pay? He was like, nah, mind you, this guy is starving. He came in with a gun and everything, and he's like, give me some food now. Like, hey, give me some food now or else. Patty said, you have any money? He said, nah, just hurry up and get the food. Patty started whooping his ass. Apparently he was starving for like days on top of days. Gin was starving for like days on top of days, and he needed food. Like, he just needed food, and he wasn't getting any food from anybody. Basically, they kicked him out of the restaurant. All of the regular people were applauding because they were like, we hate pirates. Pirates are the scum of the world, blah, 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 blah. Sanji actually went outside and snuck him some food, Gin. And Gin was trying to move pro, and I was like, oh, he's fine, blah, 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 blah. Nah, Sanji was like, eat up. If there's anybody that's hungry, I'm going to feed them. You don't have to pay anything, just eat. And Gin ate, and you know when you just eat food first time, so he's like eating like crazy, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? And he's crying while he's like, yo, thank you, I owe my life to you, you're the greatest person of all time, blah, 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 blah. Luffy was kind of seeing it from a distance, and Luffy's like, yeah, I want this guy to be the chef on my ship, you know what I'm saying? So he was trying to convince, he told Sanji basically, I like you, I want you, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And Sanji said, nah, I don't want to be a chef. So okay, so we'll do the hard way, no problem. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a part of my career, you're gonna be the chef. I'm telling you, I'm a pirate, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates, and you're gonna be the king of the pirates chef. You know, sounds pretty simple, right? So, you know, Sanji said, nah, whatever the case may be. Gin thanked him for it, and then he left. When he left, Zeph was watching it as well, because Zeph knows that Sanji would do those type of stuff, whatever. Gin actually went all the way back to Don Krieg. Apparently Don Krieg and his crew of 5,000 men went to the Grand Line. That's where Luffy and his crew are eventually heading. So I think that's what the whole East Blue Saga is, to kind of build the crew so that they can go to the Grand Line, essentially. So basically what happened after that is that they went to he told him, hey, we got some food. There's so many different hungry persons on this ship with Don Krieg. you know, and Don Krieg's hungry as well. You know, they're like, okay, fine. Gino's like, hey, they gave me some food. Maybe if you go there, like, I know you have gold and you have money and whatever the case may be. Please, let's go. Basically, Don Krieg eventually came. He came, you know, he's like, hey, you know, I'm begging, like he begged for food. He was begging. He said, please just help me. They said they're not gonna help you. Don Krieg is the strongest person in the East Blue. He would never, like, we would never help you, like we kick you ali down, blah blah blah. Of course, Sanji went out, Sanji gave him food. Don Krieg ate it, he said thanks, and then he smashed Sanji's face in the ground and basically said, hey, I'm gonna take over the ship. And I will find out that Zeph actually used to be a pirate. His name was Redfoot Zeph or something like that. He was actually one of the most notorious pirates ever, and he actually sailed on the Grand Line and he was successfully came back without a scratch. That is something important for the rest of it, because that's basically showing that the Grand Line, as dangerous as it is, there are people out there with experience that if you know how to navigate well, you will be able to navigate the Grand Line and be successful. That means that Zeph is actually very strong. Mind you, he has one foot and he has like a peg leg, which is very important because when we get to the flashback, you'll know exactly why he has the peg leg. And it's very, I'd say it's disturbing and very sad. You know what I'm saying? But basically what happened after that, and I know I've said basically that what happened after that, I'm just trying to give the story as best as possible because I didn't read all of this in one day. I read it like over the course of like 2 weeks. You know, I shouldn't have taken this long. Luckily I'm in Arlong Park, so the Arlong Park video should be coming faster, and then maybe I'll do like a recap of all of the East Blue Saga, and then by then I should have the other books where we're going to the other, you know. But yes, back to the story. Basically what happened after that, and I'm doing that one on purpose, is that yes, so Don Krieg tried to commandeer the ship and he said, hey, we have like the rest of my men on the ship outside, so make sure, hey, make all of these meals, blah 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 blah. Sanji was gonna go do it, and then Patty on our next shift they started beating up Sanji and holding back and telling him that you can't do that because you're feeding the enemy and whatever. But Sanji's philosophy is literally just like, it might sound like Sanji is self-destructive, but his philosophy is just like, if somebody's hungry, I'm gonna feed them. And it's gonna make sense soon when you listen to the backstory, you know, because yeah, it's just gonna make sense soon when you listen to the backstory. Anyway, Chef Seth came out and gave all of the food to Don Krieg and said, hey, give this to your men. Don Krieg went and give this to his men, and apparently he was gonna come back to take over the sea ship, the sea restaurant ship, because the sea restaurant ship would be a good cover-up for when they go to the Grand Line, because they would just appear as a nice restaurant, so they could basically fly past or sail past the Marines and basically trick pirates as well. So they'd be like tricking everybody, and then they could kind of, I guess, surprise attack people and whatever the case may be. I guess he has the right intention in terms of deception. So that's, I guess that's actually a very good idea. I can't lie to you. We learned a little bit about Zeph. We learned a little bit of what happened to Don Krieg and his many fleets, or many ships basically. They all got decimated by one person, Hawkeye, Mihawk, or Mihawk, Hawkeye, or whatever the case may be. He's actually the strongest swordsman in the world, and that's the guy who Zoro is trying to surpass. So you can see how this is getting very interesting, because remember Zoro said that he's the guy that he wants to surpass, and this is the person who he wants to become the strongest swordsman in the world. That's the promise that he made to Queen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this man who, hey, who knows? He might become the strongest swordsman in this arc. Unlikely, right? That would have been terrible writing. But basically what happened is that he was like, Oda was writing up Mihawk to sound like one of the most dangerous persons ever, and trust me, he delivered in this arc, bro. He's definitely one of the best. Yeah, that's the world's strongest swordsman. Man, I want to see him in a serious fight. You get me? But Don Krieg and his men they rejuvenated themselves, started to eat, whatever the case may be. They're like, hey, we're about to go eat, blah, 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 blah. They rejuvenated their energy, and then they started firing some stuff. In the middle of firing some stuff, they realized that the ship started getting sliced up. It was none other than Mihawk. He came all the way from the Grand Line just to come chase these rabbits. Like he was hunting, basically. It was like he was bored. He just kind of came to just finish the job that he had, because basically he had sliced up every single ship that he had. Let's say Don Krieg had 500 ships. He sliced up 499 ships, and there was one left. And I think he probably felt a little bit incomplete. He's like, hey, let me just finish all the jobs, because these guys are literally, what's what I'm looking for? These guys are literally posers, so I want them to know that they're frauds. Like, I need to end them right now, you know what I'm saying? Fair enough. I respect it, Mihawk. So what happened after that is that he got up and he was there. Luffy was like, hey, what happened to the ship, blah blah blah. Johnny and Yusuko, they came out and said that, hey, Nami actually took the ship and dipped. Like, she saw this, like, you see like what I'm seeing the book right now? She saw the book, but they used the wanted poster. She saw this long-nosed person, and she said that, like, remember, from the first time that she said that, oh, a pirate hurt somebody that she loves, or whatever the case may be, that person is basically the person that hurt whatever loved one she had. And she said Nojiko or something like that. Or is Nojiko she said? No. Did she say Nojiko, or did she say Bellany? She said something. I don't remember. I probably should just go back in the book and read it. It's like probably in the first part of, it would be in the last part of volume 6 if we're being it would be very funny if, you know what I'm saying, it would be very funny if it was like here. But regardless, I don't think it's here anymore, and I'm not gonna waste my time to look at it or whatever the case may be, because maybe then I don't want to waste time. Let's see if I can, oh wait, I'm actually there. Why does she keep staring at the bounty? Just give me a second. The bounty. Why does she keep staring at the bounty? Alright, whatever. Regardless of the fact, I don't think I'm gonna find it right now, but I'll bring it up in a different video in the future. But basically, she looked at the bounty and she realized, so she stole all the treasure off of the ship, and she disappeared, and she told Johnny and Yosuke to tell them, so long, hopefully we see each other again. And then it kind of pans off to her crying and saying that I hope that one day I can become the navigator for the ship for real, but she has some stuff that she has to deal with. So that was a good betrayal, but you can tell that she really wasn't gonna betray them for real. Like, you can tell that this is more like a survival thing. Because Luffy was even like, yeah, we're gonna go after her. She's the one I want to be my navigator. Like, there's nobody else that's gonna be my navigator. Nami's gonna be my navigator. Zoro and the rest of them don't understand why. But basically, a couple of them are gonna go to wherever she's going, which we all know she's heading to Arlong Park. But she doesn't they couldn't leave us yet because, as I said, Mihawk came. Zoro decides that, hey, he wants to challenge Mihawk. He's like the coolest. Like, bro, Mihawk is one of the best written or drawn persons ever. I wish I could, let me show you guys, because he just looks so flipping cool, bro. Like, oh my days, bro. Like, just look at him, bro. Mihawk is so cool. Just look at him, bro. He looks like a vampire, like, this is aura, bro. I thought Zoro was aura, but this is aura, bro. Like, Mihawk is so good, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. He's like so good, but we're gonna kind of interrupt it for a second before we get to the Mihawk versus Zoro fight. The cover pages have been telling me a story where Buggy actually, like, after being, I guess, punted or whatever by Luffy, he actually been on a little adventure. He met with Gaimon. That's the guy that we saw after we left. Where was it? Syrup Village, maybe? No, that's before we went to Syrup Village. Gaimon, at first they were enemies, and then they became friends. They chat and they drink and whatever the case may be. Then he left, and then he met up with his female pirate, which I guess is gonna be very important soon, maybe, I don't know. And then after that, now you saw some sneak peeks of the Buggy Pirates fighting to see who would be the new leader. You had, I don't remember the names, but just know that you had the sheep looking guy and the cyclist looking guy. They were like fighting, you know what I'm saying? And then the flipping lion that woke up in the middle of the night, sleepwalking or sleep fighting, defeated both of them after they were fighting for like 2 days straight. Obviously they're exhausted, and then his name is Richie, by the way, the lion. Then they became the Richie Pirates, and then the Richie Pirates, they got captured by, I think, some cannibals or something, and they're in the middle of getting boiled like soup, which is like the funniest thing ever. And then Buggy and them seen that they're fighting or saw their people getting beaten, and then they found the rest of Buggy limbs. But I think that's where we're at now. I think that's the last one that I saw. I think they're gonna finish that cover story, because what I suspect is gonna happen, they're gonna finish the cover story in Arlong Park. You get me? Whenever we finish at Arlong Park, and then we're gonna see Buggy in the last chapter. I'm not asking. I feel like there's one more arc after this to kind of wrap up everything. You know what I'm saying? That we're gonna see Buggy in, because it just makes sense. Buggy definitely is a reoccurring character, or at least for now, he's gonna be a reoccurring character, so it makes sense. But to the Mihawk and Zoro fight, Mihawk came to fight Don Krieg. Don Krieg was like scared out of his wits, you know what I'm saying? And Zoro was like, nah, I want to fight you. I've been waiting my whole life. I've waited all day long just to hold you in my arms. Teddy Pendergrass, I'm sorry. But basically, he's like, hey, this is what I've been training for. And now I finally get an opportunity to do it. I'm going to do my best and I'm going to beat you. And I'm going to become the best swordsman in the world. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we knew that Zoro was going to win. But basically, let's just say for argument's sake, this is Mihawk's sword. This is Mihawk's sword. You know what I'm saying? He has a huge sword called Yoro or some crap like that. You know what I'm saying? Mihawk took out his smallest sword, bro. It's basically like a pocket knife. He's like, hey, why would I go hunting, bro? He used an aura, bro. He said something filled with aura. I don't, bro, like, I'm so sorry. I have to find what he said, bro. It's so filled with aura, bro. I'm so sorry that this is like, I am so sorry, bro. He took out the flipping smallest knife and he said, I'm not the kind of fool who hunts rabbits with a cannon. Ooh, aura, bro. My God, bro. Hey, Mihawk, you are amazing. They start the fight. Zoro has his 3 swords. You already know how he is. 1 sword in his mouth, 2 swords in both his hands, and he goes off. Or Onigiri or whatever the case may be, one of his flipping strongest attacks ever. And Mihawk just stops it with the little small knife, like pew. And no matter what he's doing, Zoro cannot pass him. It has nothing to do with strength, because you can tell that Zoro is extremely strong. There's another power force that nobody is telling us about, bro. Like, Mihawk has this force field or something, bro, because he literally stopped him with a small knife. You cannot be that strong, bro. I ain't seen no muscles like that. He just stopped him like this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting to understand things, bro. You see like how Shanks did scare her with a monster? You know what I'm saying? There's like a force field that we don't know about, bro. You get me? I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on. I'm not dumb. But we're not gonna know about it for now anyway. But yeah, anyway, regardless, they start fighting, blah blah blah. I don't know. Just know it was one of the nicest fights ever. Like, really, really nice, bro. Mihawk obviously wiped the floor with him, and he gained Zoro gained his respect, and he basically said, why are you fighting? Why are you not dodging? Like, why are you not trying to run from my attacks? So why did you make me stab you and you didn't try to like ease the blow? And he's like, no, I would never run. To run away from you would be going back on my ambitions. I would never run. I'm never ducking a fade, bro. I'm like Katashi Hatake. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, bro, I'll never duck a fade. And if I can't beat you, then I just don't earn the title of being the best swordsman in the world. And I made a promise, and I'd be going back on that promise if I ever did that. That's what you call loyalty. That's what you call respect, bro. I respect that, Zoro. Your aura points are still there. Even though you got dog walked, your aura points are still there, bro. I still respect you. You're still my dog. You know what I'm saying? And he basically said, hey, like, he took out the big guns, the big sword, and he sliced Zoro, and Zoro fell into the ocean, and Luffy came after him, and Luffy said, and Mihawk is like, hey, he's not dead yet. I didn't finish him off. I just kind of gave him something to remember this fight by, but I didn't finish him off, and I respect the fact that you didn't try to interrupt the fight or anything. You made him fight honorably. Johnny and Yasuko get up and revive or take Zoro out to the sea, and Zoro is like, Zoro hold up the one of them sword them broke. I think one of them break, of course. Zoro held up his sword. Let me see if I can find the flipping words that Zoro said, bro. Oh my God, bro. Zoro said, hey, Luffy, do you hear me? Let me read it word for word. Let me read it. Luffy, can you hear me? Were you worried if I fail to become the world's greatest swordsman? You'll be disappointed, right? The man said, never again. I will never lose again. From now to the day I beat him to become the world's greatest swordsman, I will never lose again. Do you got a problem with that, King of the Pirates? Luffy said, nah, not at all. The man said, Mihawk said, they make a great team. I hope to encounter you two again someday. So Luffy literally said, hey, Zoro said he ain't losing another fight, so hey, as long as I read this One Piece thing or watch the anime, I should never see Zoro lose another fight ever again, right? Did I just spoil the whole of One Piece? Is Zoro just gonna be beating everybody? Anyway, Don Krieg is like, hey, Mihawk, where are you going, bro? Because Mihawk is leaving. First of all, he's literally floating on this little small boat, bro. Like, Mihawk doesn't care. He's such an aura former, bro. Like, he probably doesn't even eat food. He's just an aura farmer, bro. He probably doesn't even eat food. He's like, bro, I thought Zoro was aura, but Mihawk, bro, Mihawk is aura personified. Oh my days, bro. Shanks and Mihawk, I can tell you those two are amazing. I don't care. But yeah, Mihawk kind of sliced one time off of Don Krieg, destroyed some stuff, and then left. Just kind of disappeared. And then Zoro, Johnny, Yosuko, and Usopp chased after Nami, and Luffy told him that he would be behind with Sanji. He can't leave it because he has to help defend the sea ship, the sea restaurant, which is cool. And that's where I would have really ended part one, if I'm being completely honest, because that was like an arc by itself. But in continuing, we went to the second part of the arc now, where they're fighting. So now it's Luffy, Sanji, and the whole of the Baratie fighting the Don Krieg pirates. They kind of turned it into this battle mode. They started fighting this guy named Pearl. You know what I'm saying? Gin was like one of those flip-flops. Like, he didn't have a specific resolve because at one point he doesn't want... okay, he's a good person. He doesn't understand why Don Krieg is being mean or turning on somebody who had sympathy for him while he was starving. You know, just like, Gin genuinely just brought Don Krieg because he cared for his captain and didn't want him to die. He didn't know if his captain was going to turn on the people who fed him. You know, he bit the hand that fed him. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to take over whatever, which is, you know, just very stupid. Fine, it happened, you know, whatever. But Gin was like, he was fighting something. And it's very, I guess he was very, I don't know how to explain it, but he was a definitive part of this arc, basically. Gin was the deciding factor. And you'll know why soon. But basically, there's a next one. Gin is like the first one. He's like the vice captain. You have a next one named Pearl, who's never been injured before. Luffy and Sanji, they make him bleed like twice out of his nose. He got mad. He started flaring, whatever. He was very easy to defeat. I can't ever lie to you. But Sanji just wasn't fighting because Gin had a gun to Zeph's head. He had a gun to Zeph's head, right? And he was like, Gin said, hey, all they have to do is surrender the ship and then, you know, and leave, and he'll be fine. Sanji said, no, he's not gonna die. He's not leaving and he's not surrendering the ship. You know what I'm saying? So Pearl had some free shots. Pearl hit him, until Sanji gave his backstory. Well, he didn't give it, but the backstory was given. He explained why he owes his life to Zeph. Basically, what happened is that Sanji was on this restaurant ship kind of vibe, or he was the chef, one of the chefs for the ship. And let me tell you, he used to see the chefs after dining time, whatever the case may be. He saw the chefs going through the half-eaten food or the garbage and taking out the best things and still eating it. And Sanji was disgusted because Sanji saying, why are these people like eating the food? Why are these people eating trash, blah, blah, blah. They're like, bro, you don't waste food in the ocean because you don't know what the clock can strike. You don't know what the tides can play. You don't know if there'll be food tomorrow. Sanji never agree with that because Sanji never get it. You can tell Sam come from like a rich family, uptown kind of style. He's very stuck up. He doesn't really understand what's going on. You get me? You can tell that he always had food. He probably had butlers and all those things. Like he's not used to the struggle, bro. When you're used to the struggle, bro, you eat what you can eat and eat what and take what you can get type of vibe, bro. Sanji ain't used to those things, bro. He don't know what rock bottom feels like. He doesn't know what starvation is, you know what I'm saying? So basically the boat got taken over by some pirates. It was the Red Leg Zeph or Redfoot Zeph pirates, you know what I'm saying? And Sanji was trying to defend himself and he started stabbing them and going after them. He's a little kid. He's like probably, if he's 19 now and he was 9 years ago, he was probably 10 at the time, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe he's 12, I don't know. But regardless, he went after the pirates and Zeph gave him some kick and then a big storm come and hit everything, you know what I'm saying? But before that, he was actually saying that he's not gonna die today. Sanji's not gonna die today because he wants to see the all blue, and they were laughing after him or whatever. And Zeph wasn't laughing. Zeph was the only one who wasn't laughing because apparently Zeph had the same dream back in the day. So basically, what happened is that the storm came and it knocked Sanji overboard, and Zeph jumped into the water. By the time he come up, both of them wash up. and all him could have salvaged was a bag of food. So let me show you the representation of it, right? All they could salvage is a bag of food and a bag of treasures. So, for argument's sake, this is the bag of food. This is the bag of treasures. But you never know that it was the bag of treasures, right? So Zeph took this bag and Sanji took this bag. And they were on a cliff, they were on a mountain. So Sanji said, hey, not Sanji, Zeph said, hey, you go over that side, I go over this side. If you see a ship, signal to them, try to get them. Eat your food sparingly, this should last you about 30 days. You should be fine. And he's like, why do you have to get the bigger bag, blah, blah, blah. He's like, because I'm bigger. I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm bigger than you. I require more food. So basically what happened is that after like, let's say, I don't know, 50 days, Sanji's food finished. Mind you, he had spoiled food and all that, because the food obviously eventually spoiled because it got soggy, got wet, and just time passed. You know, there was one time like a ship came, but they didn't see him because there was a storm going on. He was finding and couldn't get him. Eventually there was no food left and he was just there starving, and he said, hey, he's gonna go over there and because he hates Zeph, you know, because Zeph is the reason that he's in this mess. Which technically Zeph is like the reason why he's alive, because Zeph's the reason why he saved his life. And more than likely, if Zeph didn't attack him that night, the storm would have hit them, he would have still gone overboard and then he would have just been dead. But hey, everything happened for a reason, even in the One Piece world. So basically Zeph actually saved him, you know, bam, 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 bam. He went over with a knife to go kill Zeph because he's like, hey, Zeph, he looked over and saw that Zeph still had the big bag of food, so clearly he's not over there hungry. When he went over there, Zeph was like half alive, starving as well. He went into the bag and said, hey, I'm gonna go eat some food. And he went into the bag and it just only treasure. And he literally said, hey, I thought you had food, so you're telling me you gave me. It turns out that Zeph gave him all of his food. He had all the food. And he asked Zeph, what did he eat? Realized that Zeph ate his leg. That's why he has a paddle foot leg, and that's why he has a regular leg. He broke off his leg and ate his leg to survive, and he decided to sacrifice all of his food, sacrifice probably his life, just to ensure that this kid stays alive for as long as he can. Eventually they both stay there and they survive for like the next 20 days, and then a boat comes and rescue them and, you know, get them back to safety and whatever the case may be. Zeph takes all of his treasure and he opens up the Baratie, of course. He also still owed a little bit of money, but that don't really matter at this point, does it? So that's actually the reason why Sanji doesn't believe in wasting food, even though he used to. And that's why they say sometimes you have to go through the struggles to understand. And that's why Sanji doesn't believe in not feeding people. If somebody's hungry, he's gonna feed them, even if they don't have, you know, even if they don't have the money. And that's why it shows you that that's the type of person that Luffy wants on their crew. So that's why he called him Crap Geezer. He owes, and Seth calls him Eggplant, Crap Eggplant, and all sorts of stuff, bro. They just call each other names. It's like hard love, but you can tell some of them really love each other. You know what I'm saying? They're very cool. So basically, how it goes later down is that, see if I can remember. Pearl is about to attack Sanji. Sanji is helpless because he's not going to attack him. Gin goes over and takes out Pearl himself. And then Krieg tells him to end Sanji. Sanji and Gin, they go at it, you know what I'm saying? They're going blow for blow. That was a very nicely drawn fight. I wish I could show you how, you know what I'm saying, how good the fight was. Like, the fight was good. Let me see if I can find. The fight was really good. Like, Zeph versus Sanji was an excellent fight, bro. I can't even lie to you. Not Zeph. Gin versus Sanji was an excellent fight, bro. I can't even lie to you. It was just a very good fight. I don't know. I can't really. Oh, see here. Like, Sanji versus Gin, like, they were doing some good. Like, even this part. You see this part where Gin has Sanji by the neck. The next part, it shows you that Sanji gets up. Let me show you how Sanji gets up. It's like one of the coolest ways ever, bro. Like, Sanji gets up by kind of flipping up, bro. You see like how he flips up? Like, Oda draws these things so good. He flips up like a handstand and gets up, and because, you know, Sanji only fights with his legs. He doesn't use his hand for anything other than cooking. I guess maybe feeling up women or something, I don't know. But he doesn't use his hand for anything other than cooking, bro. Like, he's cooking low-key. He's probably low-key a pervert still and a little bit too obsessed with women, but hey. Every character is always gonna have their thing, and I guess that's his thing. But regardless of the fact, let me see what else happens. They're fighting. Gin get the upper hand. It's very obvious that Gin is stronger than Sanji. In the meanwhile, Don Krieg and Luffy are fighting. I don't think the Don Krieg and Luffy fight is really memorable. You know, Luffy obviously is gonna beat him in the end, whatever the case may be. But Gin versus Sanji was a very good fight. Gin was supposed to deliver the final blow to Sanji, who is always delivered the final blow and killed everybody who's fought, and whatever the case may be. He couldn't, because he really does owe Sanji his life, and he didn't want to do it. Don Krieg told him, hey, because Don Krieg has a lot of tricks and whatever. He said, hey, I'm literally gonna spray this whole place with poison. Don't use your mask. And can you believe that Gin didn't listen to him? Gin never used his mask. He threw his mask to Luffy to help Luffy, because Luffy found 2 masks. Threw them to Sanji and Gin. And then Luffy didn't have a mask for himself. But magically, right before the gas reached him, he found a mask. It turns out that Gin forced a mask onto Sanji's face while taking in all the poisonous gas himself, and threw his mask to Luffy while Luffy wasn't looking, and so saved Luffy and Sanji in the meanwhile. So then Luffy got really mad that, you know, that a captain would ever like disrespect his first mate or his vice captain like that, blah blah blah. Like, so Luffy started putting boot to asses, and like he beat up Don Krieg. And you know, Don Krieg had the sea prison net that he threw at Luffy while he was getting his last beating. You know, Luffy broke through his armor, of course. Like, Luffy's just the determination. He's like, I'm gonna hit you until you break. That's Luffy. Luffy's like, hey, I can do this all day. Like, you know, Captain America, I can do this all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just keep hitting you until it connects. It has to connect eventually. If I hit you 100 times, you must get hit at least once. That's why I think that's his philosophy. Never give up type of vibe. John Cena, you know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying? Rocky Maivia type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Not Maivia. Rocky Balboa kind of vibe, you know what I'm saying? Regardless though, you know what I'm saying? Why did I say, you know what I'm saying, 10 million times? But you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm definitely boring you guys through this thing. But it was a very interesting fight. Obviously, Gin doesn't die yet. I think he doesn't die though. He actually is the one that when Sanji jumped into the water upon realizing that Luffy can't swim because of the devil fruit, I think Don Krieg came after Luffy to end him, like with one final attack, and Gin ended up taking him out. Like, he ended up hitting him, knocking him out, taking him, and then disappearing. Like, he said, hey, I don't know if you could lend us a boat, but I'm gonna just disappear with all of my crew members right now. I'm sorry, I'm just loyal to the fault, but I'm kind of gonna, considering that how Don Krieg treated me, and I've always kind of just lived through his dreams, I'm gonna live through my own dreams now, and I'm gonna go my own way, and I'm gonna kind of just do things on my own now, you know. So that was pretty admirable. And Luffy said, hey, so you don't want to join my crew? Sanji said nah, and especially after Don Krieg just came here, I know that 1, we need to build back the Baratie. 2, they're gonna need like protection just in case, you know, and I still owe the crap geezer my life, blah 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 blah. He was like, okay, well, all right, we tried. So they're there, and Sanji apparently made some soup. The whole crew and everybody in there, even Zeph, the head chef, they were like, who made this soup? It's so bad. Everybody started throwing away the soup on the ground and breaking the glass, which they never waste food, by the way. Sanji got mad and ran outside and go outside for a smoke break and whatever. Turns out that they were trying their best to kind of offend him so that he could leave, because they really want him to go see out his dream, to go see the All Blue, which is like where all the oceans in One Piece meet in one specific place, you know? And like, it's very interesting because they were trying to give him like tough love so that he could leave, but Sanji could hear them, you know, because Luffy was enjoying the soup. Luffy was the only one that was enjoying the soup, and they're like, yes, kid, we know that it's good, but it was the hardest thing we had to do. The soup is amazing. Like, it tastes flipping 5 out of 5, you know, 10 out of 10. It's that good. The food is damn amazing, but we kind of want him to leave. We need him to leave so that, you know, he can go with you and see the world and become a pirate, and, you know what I'm saying, maybe the king of the pirates or whatever. Yasuko then comes now and say, hey, Luffy, I can't explain to you right now, but we need you. We found where Nami is going, and I think she's heading to They didn't mention the place, but obviously because I bought the book, it kind of already spoiled exactly what's next. And obviously I read into volume 9, which would have started it, and the title of volume 9 is Arlong Park. So I mean, let's be real, you know. But regardless though, so he came and then Zeph was like, hey, so you have to text Sanji. Luffy's like, hey, if Sanji don't want to come, we're not going to take him because I'm not going to force anybody to come with me if they don't want to come. And Zeph is like, oh, all right, fine, cool. Okay. Sanji said, I'll come with you. You want a chef? I want to see the all blue. You want to be the king of the pirates? So everything aligns. Let's go. And Luffy was like, okay, let's go. On the way out now, they kind of got a boat, which is Sanji's boat apparently. And Luffy's like, you're not going to say goodbye? He's like, nah. Then Zeph was like, hey kid, keep your feet dry. And him start burst out in tears and he says, Zeph, I'll never forget you. I owe my life to you and I'll always think about you. And he was crying. Zeph start ball. All of the chefs them start ball. And even Yasuko, all of this ball was balling, and it's just, oh my god, bro. One Piece is such an amazing, like, it's just and I missed out so many parts, by the way. But One Piece is such an amazing series, bro. It's so good. Like, reading it has been so good. Like, this is so good. I'm so intrigued for this Arlong Park thing because I know they're gonna kind of tell us what was happening while we were gone, and then they're gonna go everything up to date. And then I just know that eventually that flipped. We're gonna find out that Nami is actually on the right side, because remember, she was crying. She never wanted to betray them, but it's something that she has to do. So it turns out that she might have a deadline for something that she needs to meet within a specific time. And she said that she was saving up to buy something. So more than likely, she probably wants to buy like Arlong Park or something. Or maybe she wants to buy the freedom of somebody. You know what I'm saying? Of that Bellamy person or Nozuko or whosoever she mentioned, bro. She mentioned 2 people. I don't know if one of them is the villain, but something tells me that Arlong is the villain, because, you know, Arlong Park, it's sorry, I hope that didn't disconnect. It's like right there. Arlong sounds like the perfect villain name, you know what I'm saying? Now just think about it. But then again, when Buggy was in Orange Town wasn't called Buggy Town. And Captain Morgan never named Captain Morgan Town. Maybe the villain is Bellamy. I don't know, bro. Hey, we catch with you. But I'm gonna drop the next review within a week. I'm telling you, like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna finish this within a week. And then tell me in the comment section. If just leave a comment, any comment, I don't care. Put a number, put a word, a letter, it don't matter. I'll respond to every single one of them, even the hate comments. But put in the comment section who your favorite character is, and also put in the comment section if I should make like a review of like the whole East Blue Saga after I make this, you know what I'm saying? And my predictions for the Grand Line. I don't know, but just, hey, it is what it is. We out.